Hello, this is Justin Watts. I wanted to quickly go over, I wanted to talk about the order tracker for a few moments here ahead of tomorrow's discussion. Um, we had a process design review, and there was some great feedback, and of course, we want to apply some of it to our design here. And I also wanted to just take, the participants in this meeting, this upcoming meeting, through some of the design process so we don't necessarily go down the same path or end up kind of falling down a rabbit hole of design considerations. Um, so I think it makes sense to really um, discuss how we got to this point and where it all began, because there's been a lot of thought, not even just by me but by the whole group, a lot of the business folks and everything, for our order tracker. So anyway, I wanted to quickly just kind of get started. And the very first thing I do when considering a new process or designing something is do some research. And there's some great articles out there about order trackers and kind of some of the different variations of them. And so that's kind of my first step. So a lot of that has informed the design, and I'm happy to share some links and things of that nature as well. Um, so I wanted to kind of pull back the curtain here on the design process and really start at the beginning here, which is the Domino's Pizza Tracker, which coincidentally has been, it's been around since like 2014. Um, it's a pretty novel idea. You place a pizza order and you get to track it when it gets to your house. I suppose the thing about that is that that's a linear process, and really ours is it's a lot more complicated. And so, what we found was that we were able to use some of the design from this, type of thing. You have your bar on top here, you have your supporting information down below, and to a degree, we were able to kind of capitalize on using some of that design for ours. However, what we found out was that because our process is so complex, we needed to do two things. One was streamline this process up here. Well, actually, three things. Two was educate the customer, and I'll kind of show you how this looks in over here. Streamline the process, so take it from the 10 steps on the Visio document that I was handed, to simplify that for the customer. Um, Give them some education, when it came to what was actually happening with the order. And then the third one was to give them supporting information for each of these steps. And so that kind of main foundation is what we use for our order tracker, and we think it works pretty well. So anyhow, what I want to do is kind of go back to the beginning and discuss some variations that really didn't work, and kind of go over why. Starting off, I always want to go with the most simple thing, simple design. Um, I was very fond of having this vertical one here because it's simple. Most people understand it. As I started talking to the business, what we understood was that this is not this is essentially what we're communicating today, and we wanted to give them more information. The other bit of feedback that I got was that we want it to be horizontal. Horizontal is great. I think it's a common convention. The one thing to consider is that we have to put this on mobile as well, and so that will be something that will need to be looked at. Some other kind of variations down here. This is a very pizza tracker version. The next thing that we found out was that this having more than 4 steps here made this extremely complicated and busy in terms of a design. And so what we wanted to do was really take that and simplify it into 4 steps. And so that's why we did that. Again, another horizontal version. And then the last one down here is a version where we have kind of a bar, almost like if you look on Amazon. Amazon has this very simple kind of bar here that is, it's there's not a whole lot of information there. But I think that the thing that I found through talking to people was that they don't need any information from Amazon, because there's not going to be any. They're never going to request more information unless someone's credit card doesn't go through, and so that's why we ended up with the one that we did. Now this is kind of another version. So we started realizing at this point that our order tracker, if you kind of take a look here, you can see this, this bar up here. You got your 4 steps. This is all from this iteration that we've done. And then what we started realizing was that, okay, in each of these steps, we need to squeeze this information out and display it to customers. And that's where the idea for our order tracker really began, because we have these kind of big tent poles in the middle of this process, and order validation, verification. The second step is the longest one. And so that is where you can kind of see how we iterated on this version, which was, it followed all the other versions that I just showed you, into this version. This takes kind of what we know about our own process, which is on that Visio diagram, and really puts it into a UI. And so all of our business practices, including our errors, are handled with this. And so that is how we kind of ended up with this process here. And while it seems complicated, the real thing I wanted to do with this was create a simple interface for it, give them the option to make it as simple as possible, and then also, if you're in any given step, to understand exactly where you are in that step. And I think that it succeeds, to a degree. I think there's always room for improvement, but I thought that it would be valuable for everyone to kind of understand where we were, where we came from when we showed our version of the order tracker. And I look forward to talking more about it tomorrow.